There's a very attractive 10-event program at Albion Park on Saturday night. It's been themed Racing Meets Pacing. The Albion Park Harness Racing Club teaming up with Brisbane's Premiership thoroughbred trainer Tony Gollan. We'll have a big team at the Creek on Saturday night. There's a very attractive and valuable 2-year-old race on the program, a very interesting trotters race, and the feature for the older horses, the final event on the card, the Sioux City Sioux, named after a New Zealand bred filly who arrived in Australia in the very early 80s and became one of the stars of Brisbane harness racing when Albion Park went the other way. She was prepared by Mark Litchwag. Coming up, we're going to hear about some chances on Saturday night from leading drivers, and I do mean leading, Nathan Dawson and Pete McMullen. Nathan, you start the night in the first. You're back aboard Three Mugs Inn, who's back after nearly 2 months off. You drove him at his latest win. It was over this trip at the Creek back in May. He trialled here at Redcliffe last week, but if I remember correctly, not all went sweetly in the trial.
Yeah, that's right, Terry. We gave him a trial there the other week and he copped a bit of a check at the start, but he finished off well and he should be improved from that. So with a nice draw, hopefully we should be in the finish somewhere.
All right, well then in the next, Havana Moon looks a good strong chance for you.
Yeah, that's right. We have a bit of a tricky draw in barrier 7, but his runs are late have been good, so hopefully if luck's on our side, we can feature somewhere.
A little later on, race number 4, you're having your first drive on Squire. Now this is his 4th Queensland run since coming up from down south. He was just beaten over the mile last week when he led, but this time you have to deal with the inside of the second.
Yeah, that's right. It's my first steer on him, so I've got to get to know the fella, but hopefully with the right draw and barrier 8, the one looks like the leader if it's got the speed to hold, so hopefully luck's on our side and we can get up the sprint lane to win.
Okay, now the 2-year-old race is the richest race on the program and it's drawn together a very good field, and you're teaming up again with the talented Captain Crusader. Now he's won both his Queensland starts. You got him home from the 5 gate 2 weeks ago, but the outside of the front's going to be a tougher test.
Yeah, that's right. Last starter we had luck on our side and small field and we were able to find the 1-1 and then we pulled out late and we were too good, but he's a nice horse. He's probably the best 2-year-old I've driven this season, so hopefully if we get a bit of luck again, I don't believe he's too far away in the finish.
It's a strong field, there's plenty of pace in it.
Yeah, that's right. It's the best 2-year-old race going around probably all season, so hopefully the luck's in our shoes and we can feature somewhere.
And in the trot, a little later in the night, you're driving Ivanov.
Yeah, that's right. He's always good at the stand and starts. He's a fast beginner, so hopefully we can get away good again and find a good spot. I don't think he'll be too far away.
All right, if I pinned you back to the wall and said your best on Saturday night at the Creek, you'd say?
Captain Crusader, he's got a Billy on his side, so it takes him a long way.
In race number 6. Good luck, Nathan.
Thanks.
Pete, you start your night in the first with Maywin's Best. The past 3 runs have been over the 1660. Back to the 2138. You won on him over that trip back in June.
Yeah, you know, I don't think the distance is a real big issue, especially the draw this week out the back there. So I've probably got to drive him a little more conservatively and probably won't be able to find the front. So yeah, this week, you know, it's probably going to be a whole different sort of game to what we've been sort of doing of late. But you know, the horse is racing excellent, and you know, the field this week is certainly no harder than what he's been racing. So you know, he's got to be definitely in there with a really good chance. So
it's a luck scenario, isn't it? You went forward on him those past 3 runs, and of course the draw makes that impossible.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously we can't go forward and make our own luck early, but possibly maybe later in the race, if the tempo sort of permits, we might be able to get him into it a bit maybe. And you know, he is a horse that sort of can make his own luck, and you know, hopefully this week the speed of the race sort of runs to suit us, and we can sort of maybe do something with that. And I think if that works out, he'll be able to do the rest.
All right, flip of the coin in race number 2 because you've drawn the pole with Elms Creek.
Yeah, he comes up with a really good draw here in barrier 1, and he's racing really well, this horse. I haven't driven him for a little while, but back on him this week, and Yeah, got a good draw, and I think he'll run a really good race.
All right, well, talking about draws, looking a little later in the program, Rock and Roll Dude. He's been racing well. He's won 2 on end at Redcliffe and the Creek before he was second at the Creek last week over the longer trip. Now, he led in the 2 wins. He sat parked last week. They were off front row draws. You've got the different scenario again coming from the second line.
Yeah, his last few runs he sort of ended up working his way to the front, and obviously Saturday night there were probably not going to happen. You know, you just can't see him get in the front at any stage throughout the run, so he'll probably have to drive a little bit different. But, you know, I think he's up to the challenge. You know, he's sort of been racing here at Redcliffe there off the pace, and he was racing okay, and he had a good barrier trial off the pace at Albion Park there a little while back, and, you know, once again it comes down to tempo, but if the tempo suits him, he'll be right into it. You know.
Okay, well, in the Trotters discretionary race, Greg the Great. Now, you've had good memories of him. 2 starts ago, he won and set a new record at the Creek for the Square Gators.
Yeah, you know, I often say about Greg, there's 2 of him, and the last 2 starts have been faultless, and the start prior actually wasn't his fault either. So, yeah, he when he's on song and when he's in the zone, you know, he's more or less unstoppable. So, fingers crossed that form carries on to Saturday night, and if that's the case, he'll certainly run a super race.
Well, he's been busy because you backed up on him on Tuesday. He came from the same mark he has on Saturday night, the 30 metres. He won, and that gave you your double century for the season.
Yeah, that was you know, a huge thrill, and yeah, once again Tuesday he raced really well. You know, the same sort of conditions as this week, and he stepped away and was faultless away, which sometimes can be his little hiccup. But fingers crossed, he picks up where he left off and goes again and races well again Saturday night.
Okay, at this stage, the drive for the night you're most confident about?
I think all 4 of them will run a really good race, but sometimes you need a good draw, and I think Elms Creek's the one with a good draw, which probably makes my job a little bit easier.
Race 2, number 1. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, somewhere there from our brace of leading drivers, Nathan Dawson and Pete McMullen, I hope you've been led towards a winner. I thought the best came in race number 7, and after hearing Pete McMullen speak about Rock and Roll Dude, I was confident. So my pick is race 7, number 9, Rock and Roll Dude. Great racing. Albion Park, Saturday night.